thank you for joining us. The first item of business is to approve our meeting minutes of June 29th. Does anybody have any corrections from those? No. Okay, motion to approve. Okay. Thank you. All in favor? Oh, okay. There we go. It's so easy with a committee of three. There we go. There we go. All right.
Just for the record, the mayor is actually your fourth ex officio.
Excellent. Wait a minute.
It's a number of all.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Old business, we were discussing progress on our short-term goals. And if you reference those June minutes, our short-term goals were press releases, finding out how that happens, releasing social media publication responsibilities to staff, releasing contact info for an eventual RCS, which we just used the, I think it's the D300 lingo for that. Or some sort of, and we decided that was with water sign up, or at least that's our understanding of how that would work eventually. And then compile a list of other community organizations with whom we need to connect for a PR board, which we as a committee have discussed, but have not made public yet. So, any progress to report on any of those items?
We contacted A5, or we're going to contact A5 for the press release template. Did we do that?
With them tomorrow. We haven't had weekly meetings because you ran out of their contract.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. That would be 8/13, yeah. All right.
Social media, I think I saw there were applicants. It looks like people interested in the intern.
Yes, I sent did I copy you? I sent it.
So, yeah.
One of them, I think, the man is really well, like marketing major, quite a bit of experience with text. Web development.
Awesome.
And then would that person take on then social or?
Yeah, we posted a job description. At Northern, by the way, there are no such thing as unpaid internships or college. So we advertise at 15, 17 an hour, which is pretty basic. 8 to 10 hours a month.
Okay.
So I think it'll all be done remotely, probably. So yeah, depending on what you think. I mean, the young woman seems nice too. She wrote a nice letter. His resume is just he's got good experience, good interest.
Okay. So are you asking for our input on that or?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just providing you the resumes. It's your call.
Awesome.
And then if you feel like he's a good candidate, we don't really have any money in the budget for that, but it's a lot less expensive than using A5.
Okay.
I did pull up the contract from A5, and their contract was to do several things, including the economic development brochure. They gave us a retainer at $3,500 a month for 6 months.
So 170 a month is a lot.
Yeah, that's
more
quite a bit different.
Cost effective. Okay, so if it's okay with you guys, can we bring that up again at new business to look at those resumes and go over those? Okay, so we do have progress. That's good. Collecting contact info for some sort of eventual rapid communication system. Are we doing that with the water setup when we have new residents?
We are now collecting phone numbers and email addresses.
Okay.
As well as pretty much every form on the website now requires an email address.
Okay. Is that for all new water customers or is
Yes.
that anybody who's signing up for auto pay as
Yeah,
well?
exactly. When we did the giveaway for the cups, that required to sign up for auto pay. Yes, we don't really have a way of, although we could put a message in the water bills to ask for people's email addresses, but we don't really have any way to get them from other residents.
Okay. Mr. Rossetti, would that be something that you might be willing to put in? Just a quick line about connecting with the village to get that information Okay.
Yes, and please call me Bill.
Okay. Thank you. And just call me Heather. It's, okay, so what would be the mechanism for village staff then to handle that information so that he could write it up?
Need to get in the newsletter?
Like, what would you want him to, how do residents get that information to village staff? There's a call, or is there a form that they could fill out, or?
Yeah, I'd have to think about that a little bit. We'd come up with a way.
Okay,
Yeah, I'd rather do something online. We just updated the resident inquiry form so that it's much more, it's actually designed now for to be posted on social media. I provided that to Mike. So if anybody posts, you know, I want this there, my sidewalks this, or something's going on, instead of just trying to get the information from them online,
yeah,
just post the link to that form. And instead of saying, it used to have a drop down menu that said like customer complaint, and it just wasn't very PR friendly. Now it just says resident inquiry.
okay,
And they fill out a form, which also requires an email address. And they can, you know, they can ask for something at their house, they can complain about something, they can do whatever they want. So we probably would send them to that form.
okay, that's awesome. So we already have something in place that we could potentially harness
Yes.
for this purpose as well. That's
You
excellent.
know, unfortunately, in a printed document, obviously, they would have to type in the email or the website.
Right,
I guess we can include a QR code on the water bills.
that would be,
A little out there for us, but definitely do that.
hey,
They're pretty easy to create these days.
they are, and they don't take up a lot of space.
Right.
Okay, let me write that down so I remember. Okay, excellent. The list of community organizations was another one of our short-term goals. I know that we had chatted about that in the past, and you guys do have a list, correct? That you had been working on?
Yeah, I
Okay,
think we started talking about compiling a list and looking at websites to find out who contacts were on those websites. And so I think we can easily add provide those so they're included in these minutes.
Okay, do we put that list actually together?
I think we
had like assigned that as kind of like homework for us to come up with those pieces.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't. Let me see if I can pull that up.
Aaron, did you see somebody mentioned last night at the BDC meeting, I think it was East Dundee, that had a calendar, I sent you the link to that.
Yeah, so that's like a PDF that they have. They also have an actual online calendar. So I also looked up, and we can bring it up on our new business, the company that their site is run through. And there's lots of actual widgets and tools and things that they can do. So it was interesting. I'm not saying we need to redo it now. There is, I think a lot of what they're doing is like standard that company does.
That's awesome. As far as the organizations that you two had submitted so far, and those of you who are listening in, just let us know if you think of somebody else that needs to be included. We have Hampshire Township, the Park District, Fire Protection District, Library, Lions Club, Historical Society, VFW and American Legion, Chamber of Commerce, and the principals of the 5 schools in Hampshire. Is there a group that we have unintentionally left out or omitted that you guys can think of that might benefit from being included?
The chamber.
We did. Okay. All right, anybody else think of? Perhaps that's something we need to add to our draft, is if we have left somebody out that you think that, might want to participate in this, please share this with them and then reach out to us. Okay. Okay, so I think we can compile the email addresses, and we have a draft of an initial contact letter. Another question we had at some point in the past was the new resident welcome packet, and it's my understanding that the village clerk has created that, and it's here, and it's also available on the website, I think.
There is one on the website.
Okay, and that
And there's also one printed at the front.
Okay.
there. It's the same thing that's on the website. It's just a PDF that's printed.
Okay, and that is actually the work of Linda, so if we have any questions or anything we need to. Oh, hello.
Hi.
It's ironic that you exited and entered
At the same
time.
time.
Also a little disconcerting. Okay, cool. Thank you. Is there anything that you guys think needs to be added to that welcome packet?
I think we need to put language in there about how a resident were to make how a resident can make an inquiry.
Okay,
So like Jay and Josh worked on that form. And so we're trying to push all the communication like from residents like into a standard format. And so I think that we should really push that. And so like there's a section in the welcome packet, like how do I, and it's, so I think that we should.
is that something that the PR committee needs to be involved in, or that can be handled?
I would think
On
it's just
staff.
staff.
Okay, excellent. So I'm gonna put check mark as if that's off my list. Yeah, we're good, okay. Is there anything else that you guys can think of from our short-term goals? The other progress that we need to monitor?
No, my only thing with and this will be maybe I'll wait for new business. Because it deals with the social and intern.
Okay. All right, well then, moving on to new business. Connection with the outside entities, we do plan to email out that invitation. When I discussed this with Mr. Hodges, he said that we don't need to necessarily get board approval. We just need to let you guys know in our PR report that that's what's going on. So we have the thumbs up to go ahead and do that. We should probably talk about dates that, like potential dates that would work for us. So that we know what definitely won't work. We don't need to add dates for those, for that email, but let's see. The next item on new business was establishing a connection between A5 and this committee. We've decided that A5 is too expensive, and that's where we came into our other new business about the insurance.
Yeah.
Which brings us to point C. All right, and so Jay has a couple
I
of
just emailed it to you. So you have it.
resumes.
You have it also. Here.
I didn't pull it up, but
I just put it to you. Right.
okay.
Mine, but I. Resumes.
Let's see, Bill, did you happen to get any photos of the village float in the parade?
I got, Jay sent me a few photos today from Trevor Herman.
Okay,
Like I said, I think we probably have plenty of photos now.
good.
The second try helped a lot. I included a lot more people.
Okay.
I took more than I thought I did. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, I haven't even opened your link yet.
I went back and I was like, wow, I actually did.
These are the cover letters.
Thank you. We look over that.
It's been a while since I saw a college resume, a lot of bagging and jewel and that kind of work experience.
I have to take myself back. Like, I saw that too and I thought, it's made for us to look at. But I kind of have to take a step back and realize that this is
These are
truly undergrad internships, right?
Mhm. I reviewed those cover letters and now I'm trying to access the resumes. I don't think we need the digital resume for the gentleman. Okay, I have a,
Probably best you just send it to you.
yep. I have two cover letters and then a PDF of a cover letter, and then the resume. Here we go.
As you know, it did also include references, both from Jules.
It looked like Ms. Thompson included the mayor of Loves Park as one of her references. Phone call.
Mayors are kind of shady characters by nature.
You don't tell us about that. I read the summer, right? By September 30th, basically press conference to make the reason for census.
That's, yeah.
Because I saw another news article saying the census data has been released,
Yeah,
but then I looked and it's only through their FTP site. It's not usable yet.
we don't really know. Yeah, we didn't expect it today, but we expected more definitive. And I want that date in March. Spent 10 years, it was in March.
Right.
And we started to see revenue in June. So until September, it's about December 6th. We didn't project it until October. So, yeah.
Oh, that was the resume. The resume was the bag and groceries and training the dairy department. Oh,
Yeah, I think really his cover letter is what I thought. I don't know what some of these are, but you might.
So I don't know what that simulation is.
You should really put that on his resume.
Well, it might be something that they all do in undergrad now, marketing classes. I don't know. There's lots of case studies.
I know everybody tells you one-page resumes. I never could do that. Even when I was in college,
Oh, we have more experience. It's a little tougher.
So he's graduating this December.
yeah. I like to roll my great communication skills. Cool.
Thoughts? These degrees and these experience. It was such a fun.
I was just looking to see the job description that we posted. I thought maybe just copy the bullet points right out of my job description. It wasn't that blatant.
So is Ms. Thompson still a intern then with Loves Park City Hall? It's the way it reads.
I only know what we read.
Yeah.
And that's what.
That's how I'm.
I mean, I kind of feel like we need to interview both. I would make a decision off of either of these.
Well, I can speak to this younger generation. I don't know how many people that you guys have interviewed that are this young. but that seems to be like a hobby of mine as of late, being the field that I'm in. To your point, you're gonna have to, because they can make themselves look really good on paper. And then like their body language and their drive and all that stuff, you're not gonna see until you get in front of you.
Well, what I was gonna raise during this too, to that point, is that whoever this person is, we're giving them the keys to the voice of the village. So it needs to be somebody that we can fully trust and have
Well-
some safeguards into. And so it may be where we also have to look at, you know, we utilize Hootsuite right now. Hootsuite has a licensed version available where you can go through approvals.
Right, and that's what I was just gonna suggest. We could do that as well.
So that they can like set the plan, write everything up, get it all set up for communication blast, but then it goes to an approver before it gets public.
Yeah, I think anything that's under licensed should be.
Yeah,
100%.
Absolutely. Thank you for letting me know that that's available
it is. And
because,
I don't know if it's the licensed version we have.
Well, I mean, for the-
Hootsuite has that type of,
Well, we could start them on Facebook, and Facebook has it for free.
oh, do they?
Yeah, you could just, so like, as an example, like, we could get them started as far as social media, and they could say, develop the content, and then we could approve it on Facebook, and then copy and paste in Hootsuite till we get going or whatever, if we decide this is, because what if this doesn't work out?
Well, that's why I'm saying there should
Yeah.
be some type of approval system or something in there.
And then we could, you know, if we decide that this intern thing's gonna work, and it's a good fit, and we can continue with the program, then we can look at investing in the higher version of Hootsuite, or something. But you could, there's different access roles within Facebook, so you can do approvals and that kind of
I
stuff.
see pluses and minuses to both applicants. That's why I don't know that I could make a judgment off of this. I'd really want to see it succeed. I'm like, her having experience of what it's like to be involved with government agency, even if it's as an internship, as a community development intern and deputy treasurer's assistant, she at least understands the structure, like that there's a board and there's staff and there's the administrator and how everybody plays a role. His looks really strong in the way that he talks about some of the bullet points of his values and what he brings to the position, and that he was actually approached by his advisor, academic advisor, to here's an opportunity, which whether he intended it or not tells me that the advisor has trust in him to apply for this type of position, right? And so that's why I think there's pluses and minuses to both. At least in my
I'd much rather teach the structure of government though than teach somebody how to do social media posts and all this.
Totally agree. However, I think for the younger generation, that's table stakes. They do that all. I mean, most do that all the time, whether it's appropriate or not is another thing, but how to post on
Right.
Facebook. It's do they understand the strategic side of it? Not just I know how to post, I know how to do a video, but frequencies, having a schedule, having a communication type strategy, video versus photo versus text, things like that.
And we do expect them to do some drafting too, right?
Drafting.
Right.
That's what I meant. Yeah, I would expect that they're writing everything and then it just goes for approval and tweaks and suggestions. Because part of this is for them to learn.
Right.
I mean, that's an intern they should be learning something from this too, right?
Yeah. Well, and I will say that Ms. Thompson has background in English, which is incredibly important if you've read anything that has been published by some people who are social media gurus.
Instead of dig.
It's,
Or anybody in that generation.
Is that,
No.
We're not looking at
She-
who currently manages our.
she literally looked right at me and she said
no,
What do we call this? Are these Gen Zs now?
No,
no, not yet. This is,
yeah.
yeah, they are. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of the alpha generation because they're the ones coming up in a couple of years.
That's
At
called the
my
alpha
level.
generation.
Those is alpha. So
That's the high school kids now.
middle school and under.
Oh,
So,
okay.
like the sixth graders who showed up today. But not in my school, it's fine. One of the things, and also, and I know this is just my experience, when I go to the grocery store and I ask to find something, I don't usually find really good PR skills.
At Jewel.
But I have gone to Ulta and I have to say, I hate that store with a burning passion because I'm not a makeup and hair person.
Which store?
Ulta, which is one of the references, one of the former employers. But every single employee in there is there to sell and to find what I want and to market it to me. if that makes any sense. And that's really hard because I am not the market for that. So, but I'm just thinking it would definitely be worth talking to both of them.
Yeah.
Um,
But I do like that
that's-
he's got experience in training and onboarding, and
Mhm.
that tells me he's got some responsibility side of it and leadership
Mhm.
side.
I see strengths from both candidates.
Yeah.
And I think it would be worth, at least calling them.
We could arrange a video interview, at your next meeting, if we can wait that long. We give it a meeting in 2 weeks, or we can arrange it another time if you'd like to. Or I can interview them, or one of you can join me in the interview.
What would you guys like to do? Do you want to invite them to our next meeting? And have them,
I think that everybody would have an exposure to it.
Because you may have questions you want to ask.
Yeah.
You may have questions.
Wherever they be in person.
I don't think it matters.
If it's going to be a remote style internship, then we're okay. We're using cloud-based technology with Hootsuite anyway, so it's not like we have to issue them a laptop.
Right. Because almost everything we can do from there. Right.
Well, but that's a question too that I think we might need to answer. Do we need to issue them a laptop? Probably.
Josh has been using his personal laptop this whole time. Right by him.
Well, you shouldn't have told me that. Because I probably would say you should buy him one. And he doesn't have a choice.
I've kind of been insisting on it, but he spiked me.
Hey, you know what? How about this? How about telling that the mayor says he needs a laptop?
Well, we can, I'll just, I haven't pushed it at this point, but we can do that. And,
Maybe you can buy 2 for 1.
We might want to do that with this rep, just to keep their personal stuff separated from his big deals.
Although, as Josh pointed out, his email is kept separate, it's entirely separate files, so if somebody does get FOIA. So easy.
Not so much worried about FOIA, I'm worried about more of the security side of it. Respectfully, I'm sure he keeps everything up to date, but like the college kid, maybe not so much.
Well, and with the, we should provide the tools to do the job.
Yep. Had that conversation today at work.
So sorry.
So even if it's just a Chromebook, whatever it may be.
Oh, well, seriously, for her or for the intern, maybe a Chromebook is the right answer.
Mhm.
You buy one with a decent sized screen because all they're going to be doing is web-based stuff anyway.
Right. And nothing's stored locally, it's all.
Whatever Microsoft solution is that integrates with Teams and
Mhm.
they have a cloud-based.
You can do Teams online.
No, I know, but they have a Microsoft-based one that they'd be able to sign in with that email address we gave them.
Right.
And that kind of
But
stuff.
that's what I mean. Whoever this is, we should give them the tools, the email address. I mean, they should be a part of the organization. And then that just becomes like if you end up hiring a partner down the road, if there's budget, that kind of.
So you'd like to have them at your next meeting virtually or in person if they choose.
What is the next meeting? We are gonna do that. So I won't be here in person.
Because of this conversation at one time, if you're not meeting the fourth Thursday of the month, you're meeting the first Thursday after the third Thursday of the month.
It's a. Yeah.
You made this big comment. You said, is this 5 Thursdays or something? I can't remember. You remember the-
No, we said it wouldn't be the last Thursday.
Oh, that's.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yes, the
I
fourth
kept trying to
Thursday,
say
yes, but not.
Because if there's 5 of them, it's not the last one.
Right. It's the fourth,
Because I was trying to do the math on that.
which is usually the last.
I know you gave
4 months a year.
Eric a hard time about his math, and I was thinking, I can't ask this question, but there's just no math. It's the difference between the fourth Thursday and Thursday after.
It's language, you can totally do that.
I will say I don't know because I will be on a work trip if I will be here. If I am not here, please continue, do the interviews. President Reed, if you want to be a part of that, it'd probably be a good thing.
Sure.
We can arrange you to interview separately. That's fine.
I just don't want to delay the process because of work trip.
Of course, with everything, how everything's going, you might be here anyway.
Unless,
Yeah, I'm going to our HQ. It's,
Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
You're safe going out there, I suppose.
Okay.
Is already,
No, to our headquarters, just
Oh.
the OUR hour.
All right, the next item of business is newsletter topics for the September billing cycle. I think, were you guys included in the email that you signed
I
up
probably
for
did it because I.
the topics? Okay, so let me pull that up again.
Yeah, by the way, we're under really tight deadlines, so I'm not sure we're really gonna make the newsletter for the next mailing. If something, there's a single topic you'd like to have a flyer in, or you just want to skip this issue.
Okay.
It's probably gonna have to be to the printer by Wednesday.
Okay,
Oh, no, there's no way.
Well, Bill and I are gonna be meeting tomorrow. I'm gonna do most of the content. He just needs your information for your column. And then we'll have,
I thought we were only gonna do it every couple, I didn't think we were gonna do it every single billing cycle.
well, what we discussed with Bill and I discussed with A5 was to do the first 4 newsletters, first 4 water bills, but that's purely, really optional.
I think that
Really up to you.
the feedback that I had received both in person and online was that having a physical newsletter and the water bill was very well received. I mean, the
Yeah.
community members I spoke to was like, this is amazing, and thank you for doing this.
Yeah, I had covered, not able to get an entire newsletter together by next Wednesday. Is there a single topic that you all think might be interesting for maybe one page flyer?
I think anything that's upcoming instead of the looking back. I mean, it's great to celebrate our successes, but I think it's super important to inform people of things that are coming up that would disrupt. So obviously, Julie Lane, wait, because by the time they get it, it'll be done.
Okay, you'd like to go out. Okay, you'd like to go out.
72
Around the 5th. We could do it. We have another option. Right now, the easiest way for us to do it is to just send the document Bill's file to people, our water bill fulfillment company. But they're not really a printer. So then they send it to a printer and they bring it back and they do it all for us, but that takes an extra 5 days. So if we would just go to a quick printer, Jeff used to print these for us. And we just went to a quick printer. We could get it printed and deliver them to them, which would be, in that way, we gain another 5 days.
Okay.
Where do we have to deliver them to?
I forgot where it is, but it's not that far.
Okay, that's fine.
Jeff used to drop them off, get the copies, and then take them up to the filming company. It's driving
Okay.
distance from here.
Okay, and does
Might be
that
covered as well.
Hey, I know a guy that works there.
Do you?
impact our
Yeah, me.
cost?
Okay.
Does doing that, printing it
No.
ourselves, does it impact our
No,
cost?
depending on who the printer is, it might be less expensive. It was
Okay.
definitely less expensive than Jeff's stuff.
Okay, all right, I have no problem.
I do think one thing we should, because it might be kicking off around then, is the 72 and state construction with IDOT.
Yeah, it'll be getting close, at least. It'll be the last.
It'll be before
They're
they're
ready for the not last newsletter, right? October, November, actually, they're supposed to start in October.
So that might be
Well,
something.
The other thing I think is code enforcement is we've made some real progress on that today, which I shared with the mayor earlier. So we'll expect to be starting to do some code enforcement work in September.
I would think typical fall stuff, because it's gonna be September, October, leaves are gonna be falling. Break your leaves, they don't go in the street, they don't go in street gutters, that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
And I can touch on that in the column. I was trying to figure out timing of it all.
I think, Bill, what is your time frame? How much time do you have next Monday through Wednesday for writing?
My schedule's pretty open, Jay. I'm available whenever you need me.
Okay, I think we can get a full issue together, given the extra 5 days. I think we'll just take that time, we'll
Okay.
find a print shop and get it printed and deliver it. The thing we're always have to be careful of is get it folded just properly in the right size and exactly the same thing, so.
Oh, yeah, it does no good if it doesn't fit in the envelope.
Right, exactly.
One of the things that had come up at Coon Creek while we were back there rolling the corn through butter was having the ability to kind of like inform residents through a more engaging and fun way, just how big our responsibilities are as a village and as a government. Like there are X number of miles of sewage, pipeline, where this many gallons of water gets used. you know, every so often.
Like a fun
um,
fact of Hampshire.
Yeah, or even making it into like a trivia question, like tune in next month for blah, blah, blah.
That's the kind of thing Bill is really good at. I
Okay,
think I shared with you before, if I haven't.
Section.
yeah.
Bill used to write Bill, why don't you share with the committee what you did for Amtrak for all those years?
Well, one of the things I did was I wrote a newsletter for Amtrak. It was mostly for the mechanical department in Chicago, but it eventually grew to the entire city of Chicago, all of our departments, onboard services and everything. And what else do you want me to explain?
They were just talking about like fun facts, and that would be a regular thing, each issue and things like that. There's, you know, and that's something that I think I shared with you, the pagination that we created, that A5 created, and also the editorial content schedule that we started with. So it's, you know, it really, the layout really lends itself to the mayor's column and anything else that we want to have in the same position every time, so people get used to looking in that same spot.
Yes.
What if we turn that fun fact into like a trivia contest where it's a question posed and people can submit an answer and you have to provide your email address and your submission, and here's like an email you can submit it to. And then the people with the correct answers will be, the people with correct answers will be put into a drawing, and one winner will be chosen for a free coffee mug.
Because I went over
$5
there.
off
I think
your
we
water
can
bill.
give them all coffee mugs, really. They're only $3 a piece.
Okay, well, however we want to do it, but you know, have something kind of like a fun contest.
Yeah, and then we talked about a QR code, right?
Absolutely,
To go to our website.
exactly. How about $5 off your water bill if you win or get the
Yes,
closest?
those,
This is the Historical Society. They met last night. And I have the copies out there. Have you reached talking with Bonnie Engel?
Oh, yeah, she's good.
Yeah, well,
She was here yesterday making copies.
so they have the,
Actually, I think she made those copies here yesterday.
that she did, she told me, yeah. So these were handed out. And
Just so you all know, that's our in-kind contribution. The only thing we're contributing to the Historical Society is our copy machine.
Yeah.
And they bring their own paper. by the way.
So we have their schedule for 6 events there. For September the 23rd is the first one at the town hall. Embrace the opportunity and life and legacy of Samuel Rowell. And there's 6 events there through June of next year. So that's something probably, you know, there's some interesting things going to be done there. You know?
Well, but in that same end, do you think that maybe on the back of it, whatever upcoming events, maybe we reach out to the Park District Library and then the Chamber and see if in the next 2-month period before the next water bill, if there's like something going on in town, we can put on the back of the newsletter?
Let me just add this. We are still going to be under a time crunch, so I think we should stick to topics. I mean, a lot of the things you've said tonight, that's a lot more than we can put in one 4-page newsletter. So I think we're going to have to work with the things that we have, including, I think if we do a full 4-page, I still think it is a really good thing. We'll have to, you know, we'll be selective on the pictures and all that.
Yeah.
Because I did receive a lot of
Put
pictures.
it in some form.
I think probably the best picture that I have so far is still my grandson on a pony, but we'll have to decide that later.
Now, did you get a picture of Mike and Linda wearing their corn hats?
I haven't seen it
Yeah, I
yet.
sent them to you.
Well, I just haven't opened your link.
I sent the one with you and me and Linda sitting next to
Yes.
each other as well, and then the one with trustee Kelly and trustee
Does
Palestrini.
anybody have a good shot of the trustees on the float?
I saw one on Facebook, I need to find it. Somebody got a picture, yeah.
Actually, Mary sent me a bunch of pictures from Facebook today. I haven't looked at either, so maybe they'll have.
Okay.
I saw one of Eric like throwing candy at somebody.
Hmm.
Like he was Oprah, he was like, you get candy.
So I'm gonna have to ask for a little editorial freedom here to make Bill and I both will.
Yeah.
Can you make sure that you don't select a picture with Aaron's mouth open?
Yeah, we'll work on it. No mouths open at all. I don't think it's ever made it public. But anyway, I'll work, and I can run it by all of you before we post it print for comments, but we will be under somewhat of a time deadline.
Well, now that we've got the extra 5 days, that's great, but I do think the did you know section would be great, especially if we can make that a contest.
Which section?
The did you know?
Oh, yeah.
And part of the purpose of that is not only to give people information about this community that they've moved to or become a part of, but also to remind them of their responsibilities. And it's not just your street that's having flooding issues
Do you have-
necessarily, or snow removal or whatever.
Do you have a
Um,
specific, because anything we do, I don't have
like,
those numbers just
there
lying
are-
around.
This many miles of, streets, well. I
Yeah,
think
how many
Linda
streets?
has-
Well, like, I know that there's 478 streetlights,
There you go.
you know,
We use that because that's the only one I have a real.
There you go.
number on.
I was gonna say Linda has a file with a whole bunch of these, that she keeps kind of updated.
A whole bunch of what?
These
Fun
kind of
facts.
fun facts about Hampshire.
yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's, from what I understand, it's something that used to happen, but this was before my time in this town.
Bill, did you do that before in the newsletter, fun facts?
Yeah, we did a lot of trivia.
Okay.
Are you referring to the newsletter that we did for Hampshire?
Yeah, in the past.
Yeah, we did a lot of trivia. What I did was I took content from the trustees and whoever else would give me content. And Linda wanted me to have a 16-page newsletter. So I would fill it with all kinds of trivia.
Well, maybe we could select an idea from that 16 pages and do one idea each time, or maybe just one little quick, did you know? And if
just
we
to
could
remind
make it into
everybody,
a contest.
we still have the electronic newsletter, which
Yes.
has a totally different template.
Mhm.
It has, unlimited pages. But
Right.
we're just not focused on that yet because we don't have time.
Exactly, no, totally understand, but I really like the idea of turning it into a contest because that creates engagement with our community.
Bill, I'm assuming you're taking notes too, right?
Yes, I am. Jay, one thing to mention is we're kind of limited with the printed newsletter that we send out with the water bill because we're limited to 4 pages. So we
Right.
can't fill it. We can't fill it with a lot of facts and trivia.
Yeah, that's
We have
what I was explaining that a minute ago. We're gonna have to get some editorial freedom here, you and I, to come up with a draft and then get
Right.
it.
The thought was just one question every newsletter without the answer. And then the next newsletter will show the answer from the previous newsletter and then the next question.
We could do that, sure.
Okay, with maybe a QR code to the data collection tool if you want to enter the contest.
Like the form.
Yes, whatever the form is, if you guys can create that. Okay, is there anything else for the September billing cycle? I don't think so, right? We like your ideas, those are great.
Well, you
Let
just,
me just ask you to kind of repeat the priorities for this. We have the mayor's column.
Mhm.
We're gonna do Coon Creek with some pictures. We're talking about state and the intersect, state 72
Mhm.
intersection improvements.
And then some fall issues like the code enforcement step up and breaking your leaves, mowing your
leaves
grass
and that
into
kind of
the,
stuff.
because it is.
And then like the last day of garbage, or, because everybody's gonna start asking is when lawn leaf, I realize that's really like the week of Thanksgiving.
Mhm.
But people start asking the minute that pumpkin spice lattes show up at Starbucks.
So, yeah, I was gonna say, so next week or
Yard
whatever.
waste.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, but at the same time, I mean, like, so as far as, because I said we talked about this briefly. What is it that you guys would like me to cover in the mayor's column? The reason I ask is because I was thinking about, we talked about the streetscape when we beat it to death, right? But we also put out a newsletter last time pumping the streetscape that we canceled before they got the newsletter. So at that same end, maybe it's worth going into a little bit of detail about why we canceled or we postponed the project
Mhm.
and make sure that everybody knows that it's not dead, that we are gonna bring it back, but these are the reasons why it was postponed.
Well, we made a responsible financial decision with other people's money,
Right.
that, no, those bids were outrageous and we have faith that prices will come down. We are committed to doing this.
So,
This is a print newsletter, so we don't have to worry about Facebook feedback.
right. So at that same end, I mean, if there's,
Except they use the QR code for that instead.
so to like the space issue, I could cover some of the fall stuff as far as like, make sure, you're not raking into the
So you
street
wanna-
gutters and stuff. But I could put that in my column.
Just tell me which Bill and I know you want.
Yeah, I could put that in the column, and then this way, at least you don't have to come up with,
So streetscape and last day of yard waste and leaves, you're gonna do those.
well, I'm thinking last day yard waste could just be
A quick
a
line
quick line off to the side or something.
Like an ad box or something.
with a little text box.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like raking stuff into the leaves and why.
Mhm. And maybe go
I'm sorry, I'm
into,
still not on the same page.
I'll do streetscape and I'll talk about some of the fall stuff. But I think to what they're saying is take that last day of yard waste pickup and put it like off to the side in a bullet box of some kind, so it sticks out. Because that'll be the one thing that somebody reads.
Mhm, hopefully.
And it'll be one less post on Facebook asking.
I think that's wishful thinking, but okay.
Yes.
But at least we tried.
We
So-
can have some time to get with Bill, maybe. When's a good time, tomorrow, over the weekend?
Well, what I'll probably, Bill, I'll probably do like I did the last time, and I'll write something and then you could cut it up. And then
Okay.
make changes to it,
Okay,
unless, I know you wrote Jeff's, but are you good with me writing mine? And then you can just clean it up?
you're the boss.
Well, yeah, okay.
I
I feel like I got less power now than I've ever had.
All right. Are we good on the newsletter?
I think so,
Okay, so moving on, Julie Lane resident communication, is that being handled by Public Works?
yes.
Awesome.
And I haven't posted
Well,
it.
supposed to, but we're just waiting until.
Yeah.
Once we have,
We don't have a schedule yet, as far as I understand.
EEI cautioned us not to move too quickly because they haven't got a schedule for the contract.
And the minute that we post it, hey, by the way, something's coming, and leave it, then
mhm,
they're gonna go, okay, that's crazy, you told me, but when?
well,
And by the way,
And
no
as soon as you
resident
say
will be blocked from the driveway at any point during this process.
Oh, well, street
No,
paper.
it's just,
It's made aware of it, yeah, as far as emergencies or anything.
there's gonna be some dust, there's gonna be some construction.
And noise.
mhm, so.
They're gonna be out early and they're gonna wake your kids when they nap.
Right,
It's supposed to be, there will be people who don't want to have issues.
Happens every year.
you're welcome. to
Well,
come
not
to
every
the
year, because we don't resurface. This is the first time we've done one of these in a long time since
Yeah.
prior to road, I think.
Didn't, Jake Lane in the old mill section get resurfaced a few years back?
Maybe a few,
Old mill did.
not since I've been here.
The street was beautiful when I left it.
Then you left.
I know.
Okay, is there anything else that we need to address? Other business?
Just something I want to mention is, I don't know whether anybody's noticed, some of the fire hydrants are being painted in the area. And a neighbor told me that they had painted several fire hydrants and they were gonna do some more.
Yeah, I do.
Is there a problem with that? Or-
No, I do it for fun.
Yeah.
No, I do.
I mean, is that something we could
So the
thank the people that did that, maybe in the newsletter?
the fire department has an adopt a fire hydrant
I
program.
was gonna say, I think it's through.
So years ago, we came up with the idea about painting them goofy and all this
I
kind of stuff.
remember that.
Right, and then somebody was like, Mr. Rossetti, that's how I met Mr. Rossetti, emailed me when we were talking about that, and he goes, hey, I just moved into town, can I just paint it red? We're like, yeah, hey, go for it.
Yeah.
And so, but anyway, the fire department, really, we've kind of taken the approach to go ahead and paint your hydrant if you want to paint your hydrant, the village really hasn't.
Fire department doesn't care what color it is or how they paint it.
No, there's some that are painted like Dalmatians
Some that are painted-
To-
Some are painted like Minions, some are painted like, R2D2.
We haven't had any neighbors arguing about which fire hydrant belongs to them.
Well, if they want to adopt it, then they,
Yeah, so the fire department really just kind of adopt they have their program and then,
So do people have to sign up and say, this is my fire hydrant, or they just go out and paint it?
well, so people do either or.
I'm-
We really,
I'm always thinking about the problem. That's, some guy paints it the next day, his neighbor across the street repaints it.
so at the end of the day, what we talked about at the board at the time is if there was ever a dispute or if there was ever a safety issue because of the color, like, like if it was painted too dark and the fire department had a problem with it, the village would go by and paint it red and that would be the end of it.
mhm.
But that luckily, knock on wood, it hasn't happened. But I painted, like, in my old neighborhood, I painted almost all of them in the 3-city block.
That's
Just
Yeah,
red.
I remember.
Well, no, I painted the ones in front of all our water towers purple and white.
Did you?
You did.
All these ones that we were talking about up by us are just to be done in the normal red color. I could,
I love doing it. Therapeutic.
there's a few that need doing, but they're addressing that too.
Now that's cooling off, I might do the ones around my new neighborhood. Because I'm insane. Aaron's looking at me like, funny.
I'm thinking you may have too much time in advance.
I don't have enough time on that.
If you're thinking-
Case in point, I was late because I had too much on my schedule.
Was there an idea of like highlighting that or?
Oh, well, that's what I was gonna say. Do we, I mean,
Can we just wait till the next newsletter for that?
Sure.
We've got a lot of
And
time.
I know,
just bringing
seriously,
the subject up.
I'm not on the committee, but maybe talk with somebody at the fire department.
You
Get
this
this,
committee?
yeah.
You are on this.
Oh, that's true. I'm sorry, I'm used to
You're on
that.
all the committees.
I'm on all the committees now.
Yeah.
Talk to somebody at the fire department before, not September, October, was it November would be the next one that went out?
Yeah.
Talk to them before November, because they like people to adopt the they like to push the adoption program, because when you adopt it, you have to keep the weeds and stuff clear around it, and then in the wintertime, you're supposed to shovel. So if they can pump that program before the wintertime, maybe we get the information from them included in our newsletter about the program.
That's a good.
And then people can adopt their fire hydrants before winter, and that's less that the fire department has to shovel.
And you people in town would know about this anyway.
Correct.
So it's something we can bring up that will be useful.
I think a lot of people, whether new or not. would know.
Yeah, no,
And it's not really like, there are hydrants, but they kind of really administer the program, and it benefits everybody, but it benefits them because if you adopt it, then you're gonna shovel around it.
And there's also the safety things to put in there, like don't snow blow your snow or shovel your snow against a fire hydrant.
Very
Keep
good.
it clear, right? Keep it clear around it.
Keep a 3 to 4 foot perimeter clear.
And then you could pump it like this is something to do for the winter time, and, maybe in the spring or in the fall or whatever, if it's not too cold, paint it, or in the spring,
Mhm.
but in wintertime, shovel.
And if you and your neighbor want to get in a discussion about who gets to do it, you can rock, paper, scissors it. and-
Well, there's more than one fire hydrant on the block. Maybe
Do you
you just
wanna-
don't get the one.
do you want to take that? Or would you like me to go and talk to somebody
Well, if
else?
you want me to do it, I will, but if you want to, go for it.
Okay, then I will.
Cool. Because it'll be an opportunity to show the village getting involved.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see.
I'm
The
not,
business.
again, not trying to tell you how to do it,
No,
but
no, I just didn't know what was in place and whatever. but
Yeah,
I
they
thought-
may have a formal program and
Yeah,
they did, and we kind of piggybacked off of it. We said that if you wanted to, like at the time, we were like, if you wanted to paint your fire hydrant, you had to adopt it. That's how we did it. You know what I mean? But people are doing it anyway. But we try to pump it so that at least they get the exposure to fire department.
Now, would that be something that would go in our newsletter? The
Ne-
following issue?
Like November.
Mhm, okay,
But he's got two.
We should have that content by no later than the middle of, actually, what we're learning now is we need really the first week in October.
oh, so
Good.
if you could reach out to them by our next meeting,
I
then we
will.
can maybe develop some sort of language and have that ready to go.
I will
Early.
revisit our editorial calendar and add deadlines and all that stuff, so you guys have all that going forward.
Okay.
That's-
6 or 8.
And they have all kinds of pictures over there of families that have adopted.
I think the
Oh, okay.
October or November one is gonna be the one that you and Bill have to really have some editorial, because the fall and winter, there's a lot that can be talked about. There's a lot of the fall events that can be talked about. So it's
Um,
gonna be like, what are the top priorities that you?
Well, again, I think the priorities come from the committee. The only reason I needed some freedom this time is because we kind of pressed for time.
Yeah.
deadline.
And I just want to remind everybody that, well, not just the newsletter, but the social media posts and all that stuff, that was all done by this committee before. So the content was really driven by you guys. And I still think that's a good idea, as long as there's plenty of time to plan ahead.
Are there some issues in the village that are perennial that we might want to make like a schedule of these topics for the newsletter? Okay, should we maybe come with proposals for that for next time? Ideas that we can collect and then share at our August 26th meeting so that we can share that with Bill and you and make sure that that all seems to fit so that,
Yeah, I think we
We're
can
not
start, I
struggling
think
for
we can
topics.
start to use the pagination design and say, okay, here's where, we already have the mayor's column set aside.
Mhm.
And then we can start to set aside sections of the newsletter for the trivia and for different pieces. Maybe just one section is information,
Mhm.
fun facts, that sort of thing. So,
yeah.
yeah, and then it's up to you, do we really want it? We said, obviously, we have 6 water bills a year. Do we want to use 4 of those for the newsletter? And decide which 4, or do we not want to send 4 newsletters in the water bill? So that's something you have to decide now, but if you have opinions.
I think, I've had several phone calls from people in Hampshire saying, hey, I got this in with the water bill and I just want to know, it's great, some of the things that they.
So we should plan,
I would actually argue that we do every water bill, that we do 6, but that's just my personal sentiment based on the reaction from the community and their appreciation of that type of communication.
Well, maybe, and to that regard, maybe it's 4 pages. Maybe they don't all need to be 4. Maybe when it's slow, maybe we only do 1 page double-sided. You know what I mean?
I do.
And, or maybe, or for that matter, like, there's the mayor's column, right? Like, I'd happily give up the table space. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I don't know.
First of all, we don't
I'm
have
thinking back.
for 2 pages, so.
Yeah, I think if I'm going back in the short time I've been on the board, I don't know of a time within 2 months that we wouldn't have enough news or updates or future projects to inform residents of. I think we'll always be trying to figure out how do we prioritize what goes in and what doesn't, and how else do we communicate some of the other things, especially as we start to partner with other organizations, that if we are hitting a little slower, then we can look to that community calendar and say, are there major things happening that we should highlight?
I mean, we can have a section for public works in every single issue. We have something coming up, tree trimming in the spring and.
How much,
Salt, all that stuff.
how much did it cost for the newsletter about?
To print it?
Mhm.
I don't remember. I have to check.
In the budget, 1,600.
Can I interject something here? We're talking about the printed newsletter, and of course, we're limited on space with only 4 pages. But we haven't talked about the e-newsletter at all. We're not limited at all. We could run a huge e-newsletter if you ever want to.
Because that's what we really originally talked about, the QR code. This is the abbreviated version. You want the full?
Down after 18 months, so.
Yeah, no,
That's what all this is
Yeah.
about.
But yes, and I think that adding that QR code for those who are digitally savvy, I think that would be really important, because then we can give them that expanded version. That's generally going to be our younger residents, who may be newer to town, and so they may not have the background knowledge that some of our more seasoned residents have.
So maybe like this is our last 4-page newsletter, right? What I'm saying only right now, because we didn't do the digital one. We haven't, since we moved to this format, we haven't.
Got
So I'm saying it's
Time
time,
out. Say that again?
this is our last, this one would be the last time we do 4 pages only.
No, every time we're gonna do 4
No,
pages.
hear me out. And then the next one in November, when we do the 4 pages and then focus on the digital one as well.
So
So you're saying this one will be the last time that we focus on print only?
Yeah, and then next time,
And then for the November one, do print
and
and
digital.
digital?
I think that should be the goal
Got it.
for November.
I would like to make the recommendation that we don't have 2 different newsletters, and that we have a digital version of the same 4-print newsletter. Because otherwise we're informing some residents of more than we are of the other residents, and it doesn't give us consistency of tone or brand or communication.
I just think a 16-page newsletter is just.
I think if you do the 4-page and then you just PDF it and put that online.
We have 2 different templates now. One for, and we pay 5 to do that, one for electronic and one for.
Okay,
print.
but I think the content should be the same.
Mhm.
And we would reference, I presume, in the newsletter that goes out for the water bill, that there is a copy of this digitally for them so that they got the information to go to it digitally if they want.
So they can.
So they can do it either way then.
I would just like
In
to
there.
start off slow, because we're doing a lot of new things right now. We've got a lot of changes coming up, just operationally in the village. So for us to, I know Bill is doing this, but I don't have a lot of time to devote to newsletters right now. So just getting this one organized and getting Bill in the habit of the new way we're doing it. I mean, Bill did it pretty much himself before, but Bill, when you were doing it before, you wrote most of the content, but everybody was giving you ideas, right? Other people write content also.
In regards to the trustees would either write the whole article, or they would give me an outline that I would build on.
Okay.
So it's a very different concept now. Bill would just get all this stuff and just kind of throw it all out. I shouldn't say throw it all, but he would organize it. There's really nobody editing it. Bill just did it all himself, with input from individuals, I think.
Okay.
And we've never done one. I think the last old newsletter you did was when I came, I think. And,
Yes.
Yes.
That's when the world shut down.
Yeah, I don't know why everybody just at that point stopped sending Bill stuff, and I didn't even know we had a newsletter being franked for a long time.
Well, and
Yes.
I want to clarify and make sure that you guys understood what I was saying when I said perennial topics. Like, we should know that in the spring, we need to talk about these topics. In the fall, we need to talk about these, and it should just be part of the schedule. Like, that's an automatic thing, and it's not necessarily coming to the PR committee. Should we include things about
That's
grass
what I
clippings
refer
and
to as
leaves?
an editorial calendar.
Yeah, it just needs
These
to
are
be.
standard in every issue
Yeah.
this spring.
Christmas tree pickup
Mhm.
for trash, things like that.
Yeah. Well, and especially in the summer, please don't mow your grass and blow it into the street. Because not only does it cost us this much in money to clear out our sewer system, but it also causes a danger to our residents, in these ways. So tying that into not only fiscal responsibility, but also social responsibility and being a member of our community.
And as a cyclist, it's really annoying to have to drive by a guy that's
Blow it
driving
right
his
into.
riding mower right on the street. There's
Mhm.
nowhere to go, so you stop and he doesn't really care, he just drives everything.
Right,
Could throw rocks on you.
yeah. And when you're,
Remind.
and when you're on your motorcycle and you hit that
Yeah.
grass,
It's bad.
it's really bad.
I fallen on my bicycle twice, but I never fell. So, Thank goodness.
Yeah, so in any case, all right, so trustee Mott, as far as other business, I have trustee Mott will reach out to the fire department regarding the hydrant adoption for our next newsletter, and then the PR committee will come with a list of those topics that need to be scheduled, the editorial schedule. Was there anything else on other business?
Should we individually compile what we think is the list and get it to you?
That would be lovely.
Okay.
Okay, and then I'll share that with all of you.
Okay.
If
I'll
you,
try and be prepared in 2 weeks for the editorial calendar.
What are we combining others?
It's like, are there topics that you think are seasonal that always
Oh.
will be something that should be talked about in that time, like Coon Creek coming up in the spring?
And I'll get input from all departments, 'cause
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't think we need an editorial calendar in 2 weeks.
No.
The
These are
next
just
issue's not for a
ideas.
couple of months.
just to have ideas so that we can start that discussion, because we don't want to leave it
Well,
until,
just keep in mind that when you meet in 2 weeks, you won't meet again for another month.
right. But if our
And by
next
that
meeting
time-
is September, and so we'll still have until October.
If you're the fourth Thursday in September, you'll have about 2 weeks.
Yeah, which the idea is to give everybody as much time as possible so that you're not under a time crunch.
Yeah, that's what,
Mhm.
Yeah.
But for now, we're just trying to get it organized so that the more, scheduled things are, the less harried people become at that last minute. That's our goal.
So just to clarify, close off input for this next newsletter.
for the second one, the first one's right now,
No.
tonight. I mean, I'll try and send drafts to everybody, but
Oh, okay. No, I just want to make sure.
When does it go out in September?
the bills go out the first week. I don't remember the exact date. I think.
This
it was-
the first event for the Historical Society at the Township Building is September the 23rd.
That might be if you have a little ad space available.
Yeah, I
Just-
I made a note of it, but I think we probably have enough actual village
To fill.
things to fill the first newsletter, but we'll try and make some judgment calls and then I'll send you all a draft. One of us will.
Okay. All right, so just to recap, these are the expectations for our next meeting. Jay, you're gonna reach out to our two candidates and see if they're available on the 26th.
Right.
We are going to each try to compile a list of seasonal topics. And Lionel, you're gonna reach out to the fire department. Jay, you're gonna ask A5 tomorrow for that
Press release.
press release template. And we also need to ask Linda to add the language to the new resident welcome packet, to add the contact form info.
Yeah, I don't know anything about this new resident packet. Is that something that already
It's-
existed or this
yeah,
is
it's
just?
already on
It's,
our
it's
website.
already on the website and it's printed up near the front door. I'll grab
Is that something new or it's always been out there?
Been there for a while.
My understanding is it's always been there. So I think that's a quick and easy,
And you've looked at it, you're satisfied with the content?
we like it. I thought it was very informative. It's nice. It tells them when garbage pickup is, how to sign up for your water bill, you know, all the things that
When
you
you say
need.
packet on our website, that's just something to look at. We're not moving anything out.
Correct. It's just a PDF version that is accessible there.
Not any there.
There aren't any there. That's amazing. That means that we've had no people.
People took them.
Woo-hoo. That's a good thing. That
I
means
guess
that
it's
people
good.
came in and, you know, paper is not dead. Sorry.
But this is, when I think of a welcome packet, I keep thinking of like coupons
No,
and toys and
No.
trinkets and all that.
It's like the phone number for Flood Brothers, the phone number
That
for,
was thinking.
Yes.
It's that.
Information pack.
yes.
yeah,
Welcome to Hampshire. Here's the info that you need.
yeah, it's not like what a realtor would give you at your new
No.
house with little, like, here's local businesses and stuff.
No,
It's like, who are the cable
Welcome packet still
providers?
exists? Is that?
I don't know, because I haven't bought a house in a long time. I'd like to know.
I have. I got all kinds of stuff. I get junk mail every day.
Okay.
It's addressed to the previous president.
All right, is there anything else that I missed in the minutes? That you guys can think of? And then Public Works will be handling the resident communication about Julie Lane. Bill already has the topics, and then you two will smith that together. Mike, did I miss anything that we've asked you to do or that you said we should do?
Nope.
Okay. All right. Any other business? Going once, twice, motion to adjourn. Okay. And want to take a vote on? Okay, we are adjourned at 8:16 PM. All right.
Is Josh on too, or is that just?